Hey everyone, today I'm creating a whole series of cards using the February 2024 SheetLoad of Cards template from Call Me Crafty. You can see the hashtag on the screen. It will also be in the description below, as well as all the details on where you can find the sketch, as well as a playlist to the collaboration team. There's about a dozen of us. I don't know exactly how many. I should check that out. But there is a playlist where you can watch how we all do our own interpretation of this sheet load, and we always take a totally different viewpoint, and they all look very, very different. So it's a great way for you to get lots of ideas on how to create some awesome cards. Now, I have this box that you may have seen before if you've watched some of my other videos. It is full of 1.5 inch strips from a project I'm honestly 8 to 10 years ago, perhaps. Most of the papers in here are Australian companies. I would say the majority of this paper is probably Kaiser Craft, because that was one of my favorites back then. I am running through and trying to find 3 different pattern papers that I think will go together and are the right size to use for the elements of this particular card sketch. So you can see I found those gorgeous monsters, and I'm working through trying to figure out what else have I got here that I could maybe do some cards with. I had not decided at this point if I was going to use the monsters or maybe have a second color combination to work with. And you can see here that I've figured out those gorgeous stripes with the teal and orange match up really well with the dots and the wavy teal. In the end, I decided to go with the monsters and the green and the orange. And the reason for that is I thought I could probably do a really good job of using up all of them. It was a very big task because there was quite a few in that stack of pattern strips. I dug into my stash and I found this shimmery blue paper. Because it's A4, it ends up being 8 1/4 wide, and I can't remember the length, but it is absolutely perfect for doing panels or base layers for the front of a card. You can get 4 out of it really, really easily, even when you're doing an A2 size design, which is the US measurement. So it's the one time when that combination of Australian paper and US paper kind of works for a card layout. So here I am running through cutting these down and just creating a nice big stack of this navy shimmer paper. And when I say shimmer paper, it's pretty heavy. It's probably about 200 GSM. So it's going to give a nice good base for me to add all these paper strips once I get to chopping down my green stripes or green and white stripes and my monster paper. The size of my strips worked out perfectly for this card layout. You can see here that the strips are a little bit too long, so I'm chopping them down because these pieces of paper are either 6 inches or 6.5, depending on what type of paper pad they came from. And I need the pieces to be 3/4 of an inch wide in order to go on each side of the monster paper for the card sketch layout. Absolutely perfect when you're using a 1.5 inch strip. Just chop it in half and you've got each side of the card layout ready to go. One thing that I did want to mention is I am super close to 3,000 subscribers. So while I'm doing this voiceover, I'm at 2,961. So when I get 39 more subscribers, I will hit a milestone of 3,000, which feels absolutely crazy. So a huge shout out and thank you for everyone who has supported my videos and hit the subscribe and hit the like button and commented below. I do read all the comments and I try to respond where I can, and I really appreciate the support. It is so fun to hear people comment from all around the world. I do think that crafting is just one of those global things that is universal. Thank you so much for your interest and your ongoing support. I really, really appreciate it. For these panels, I decided to use double-sided tape. It just meant that I could prep all the pieces in advance and have them sitting on my desk ready to go. And it was just a matter of peeling off the backing strip and lining them up on the panels. It really worked well with my, bulk card making approach. I've said many, many times, I just love to make cards and sit in front of the TV, watch a movie, multitask. And so having these panels ready to go, I didn't really have to think too much about what I was doing. It was just a green one on one side, a green on the other, and then the monsters in the middle. I will note that when I cut the green and white in half, I actually kept them in order. And even when I put the double-sided tape on the back, it just meant that if I'd cut them a little bit wider or wonky or whatever I had done with them, they were still in the same pair, so they would fit nicely onto this panel. In the end, it probably didn't really matter, but I just did that to be safe. I'm now cutting down the circle. Now I think this was about 2.5 inches. You would need to double check the sketch, but I have cut a load of these out using my infinity circle dies from Hero Arts. I will put some links below to where you can find all the products I've used today, just in case there's anything that you are searching for. Now I have my 2 favorite birthday stamp sets here, and I'm trying to pick one that will fit, or I'm trying to pick a stamp from those 2 stamp sets that will fit perfectly onto this little half circle. In the end, I have picked one of the stamps from the All the Birthdays stamp set from Concord and 9th. I grabbed my MISTI because I thought I have a pile of these. I think I have 40 or 48, something like that. So I'm running through, I'm using my Versafine black Onyx ink. I did recently get a new one of these. I had the one with the lid that flips over, and it used to drive me absolutely crazy. So I decided to get the new one where the lid is completely separate, and I love it way more than the other one. I still have the other one as a backup, but I have now firmly embraced this new style from, I say new, it's been out for a very, very long time. But I didn't want to get something that I felt like I didn't need. But in the end, I'm really glad I made the choice and got a brand new fresh ink pad. Now, I've made quite a few of these, and I think for once I only made a couple of leftovers. So I think I have 2 or 3, maybe 4 on my desk, and that's it. So not too many leftover supplies for another project this time. Now, the stripe that goes across the middle of the card, you can see on the screen I have one that has blue paper or navy blue paper with gold stars. I thought that it looked okay, but I wasn't really a huge fan. So what I decided to do is use the leftover strips from the shimmery blue paper and then use the orange across the blue. And what it meant was I had the blue border, which is how it was intended on the sketch, rather than the white border on that sample card that I created there first. And honestly, the orange looks so much better. So much so that in the end, I actually put one of the orange panels straight over the navy blue with the stars so that all of my cards looked exactly the same. I really probably could have left it, but I did decide to make all of my cards a match, and they are not a set, but there's loads of them that I can donate, and I'm sure that they will be loved by younger children who love cute little monsters. To ensure that this strip didn't dip down at the edges of the card, I just used some scrap cardstock doubled up, and then I've chopped it into little pieces, and I took some time to just glue it to the edges underneath where this panel was going to go. What that meant is I get a nice flat strip across the card, and then it's something to anchor to when you add the sentiment on top, and you're not going to have bits sort of flapping around off to the edge. So really helpful to do that. It's a little fiddly, but I felt it was worth it for the result that I got in the end. You may have recognized this sketch, and I do want to shout out that we had a similar one in the 5x7 size in September 2023. So I have another video that is similar to this, but totally different color scheme, 5x7 cards, which I do not normally create. So if you are interested in that, I will put a link below, and I'll put a little link in the top corner of the screen here as well. The final step is to attach the sentiment to the cards. I did this bulk style just by laying out several of them and using my liquid glue. And then when I was adding them to the front of the card, I didn't do anything to try and line them up on the card other than line them up to the strip. So I'm not looking at the whole card when I'm doing that. I'm looking at how much of a gap I have on the left and the right where you can see the green paper peeking out, and I'm trying to put it centered, and I'm just butting it up to the edge of the blue paper with the orange strip. So this was literally super fast. Very, very easy to add the sentiments and add them straight, assuming of course that your orange strip is straight as well. I have put a link here to a video that I think you might enjoy. Have a great day.